Alex Carter stood at the back of the room, his eyes scanning every corner, every shadow, and every alien face. The diplomatic chamber aboard the Hegemony station was bigger than he expected. The ceiling stretched high above them, with strange, blue lights that made everyone look slightly ill. Alex didn't like it. After 15 years as a Navy SEAL and 5 more protecting important people, he had learned to trust his gut. Right now his gut was screaming that something was wrong. Ambassador. Eleanor Wright stepped forward, her gray suit perfectly pressed, her smile practiced but warm. She was good at her job. Too good to deserve whatever trap Alex sensed they were walking into. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we extend our hand in friendship, Eleanor said. Her voice echoed in the large chamber where 7 different alien species watched with unblinking eyes. Alex counted them again. The small, bird-like Tassics, the tall, 4-armed Alorans, the jelly-bodied Muth whose translators bubbled with each word. And the Vacans, the ones that worried him most, Commander. Vexara stood taller than any human in the room. Her scaled skin reflected purple and blue under the strange lights. The Vacan military officer hadn't taken her eyes off Alex since they entered. It wasn't the curious stare the other aliens gave. This was the look of a predator. The Hegemony acknowledges Earth's petition, said the lead diplomat, an Aloran whose name Alex couldn't pronounce, though we find it unusual to welcome such young species into galactic discussions. The slight pause wasn't missed by anyone in the human delegation. Dr. Samantha Reeves, standing near Eleanor, tensed visibly. The xenobiologist had spent years studying transmissions from alien worlds. She knew an insult when she heard one. Eleanor didn't miss a beat. Youth brings fresh perspectives. We may be new to interstellar travel, but humanity has much to offer. A low hiss came from the vacant section. Commander Vexara stepped forward, her clawed hand resting on what Alex recognized as a weapon, despite the briefings claiming this would be an unarmed meeting. Fresh perspectives? Vexara's translator made her voice sound like stones grinding together. Your species still fights over resources on your own planet. You've barely touched your own moon. What could you possibly offer the Hegemony? Eleanor started to respond with practiced patience, but Vexara wasn't finished. We've watched your transmissions, your wars, your reality shows. Your species is violent, divided, and simple. The only reason you're here is because some believe you might be trainable as servants. The chamber went silent. Even the other alien delegations seemed uncomfortable. Alex felt his muscles tense, ready to move. Admiral Martinez's final orders before they left Earth echoed in his mind. Don't start anything. But if they do, make sure they remember humans aren't pushovers. Eleanor's voice was ice-cold when she replied. If that's the Hegemony's official position, perhaps we should end these talks now. The commander speaks only for herself, the Aloran diplomat said quickly. Please continue, Ambassador. But Vexara wasn't backing down. I speak truth that others fear to say. Humans are barely more than animals. Look at this one, she pointed. Directly at Alex, you bring a warrior to a peace talk. Proof that you think only of violence. Alex maintained his position, face neutral, though his mind was racing through scenarios, escape routes, and the quickest path to the ambassador if things went bad. Eleanor straightened her back. Officer Carter is here for my protection, as is standard diplomatic protocol. A concept I believe the Hegemony understands, given the guards at every doorway. Protection? Vexara laughed, a harsh sound that hurt human ears. From what, this? The movement was so fast that several people gasped. One moment Vexara's clawed hand was empty. The next, she held a sleek silver weapon pointed directly at Eleanor. Alex moved without thinking. 3 quick steps put in between the ambassador and the weapon. His hand didn't reach for his own concealed pistol that would only escalate things further. Lower your weapon, he said quietly. This is a diplomatic meeting. Vexara's mouth stretched into what might have been a smile on her alien face. The pet defends its master, touching. She shifted the weapon slightly, now pointing it directly at Alex's forehead. But stupid. The other aliens watched with a mixture of horror and fascination. The Aloran diplomat seemed frozen in place. The small Tasik representative made soft chirping sounds that might have been distress. "This violation of protocol is unacceptable," Eleanor said from behind Alex. "Lower your weapon immediately, or what?" Vexara moved closer, the tip of her weapon now just inches from Alex's head. "Your primitive species can barely reach orbit. You have no power here." Alex remained perfectly still. His training had prepared him for death many times. What it hadn't prepared him for was facing alien technology he barely understood. The weapon hummed softly, emitting a faint blue glow from its barrel, but something wasn't right. The briefings on Vacan weapons had mentioned red energy signatures, not blue. And the way Vexara held it, her third finger wasn't on the grip where it should be according to their physiology reports. "Last chance to bow out gracefully," Vexara said to the entire human delegation. "Return to your little planet and wait another century before trying to join the adults." The room waited for Eleanor's response. Instead, it was Alex who spoke, his voice calm despite the weapon at his head. "Is that a TL-440 particle disruptor?" he asked. For the first time, Vexara looked startled. "How would you know that?" Alex didn't answer, but he noticed the slight twitch in Vexara's posture. The briefing had mentioned this model was supposedly too advanced for humans to know about. The fact that he recognized it had thrown her off balance. "Your species is full of surprises?" Vexara recovered quickly. "But recognizing a superior weapon doesn't save you from it." She pressed the weapon harder against Alex's forehead. The rest of the human delegation stood frozen, unsure what to do. The other alien representatives watched in silence, some with what might have been excitement, others with what looked like shame. "This ends now," Vexara announced to the chamber. "Let all species of the hegemony witness how humans respond when faced with true power." Alex's eyes never left hers. He saw something there beyond contempt. Was it fear? Why would an advanced species fear humans? On the human ship orbiting the station, Communications Officer Lisa Daniels frowned at her console. Something strange was happening with the incoming transmissions. Fragments of messages between hegemony ships suggested this meeting was never meant to succeed. The word threat appeared repeatedly in reference to humans. As Vexara's finger moved toward what appeared to be the trigger, Alex's mind worked faster than it ever had before. The weapon design, the strange transmissions their ship had detected, the way the other aliens were watching, it all pointed to something bigger than a diplomatic insult. This wasn't just first contact gone wrong, this was a test. And humanity's future might depend on what happened next. 3 months earlier, Alex sat in a plain office at the United Nations Space Command headquarters. The walls were gray, the chairs uncomfortable. A large screen on the wall showed pictures of the 7 alien species humanity had made contact with. Alex studied each one carefully while he waited. The door opened and Dr. Samantha Reeves walked in. Her lab coat was wrinkled and dark circles showed under her eyes. She carried a thick folder and a cup of coffee that smelled strong enough to wake the dead. "You must be Officer Carter," she said, not offering to shake hands. "I was told you'd be here, Doctor," Alex nodded. "I've read your reports on the hegemony species. Impressive work." Samantha put her folder down with more force than necessary. "Then you know why I'm against this. A military escort sends the wrong message for first contact." Before Alex could answer, Admiral Joseph Martinez entered the room. His uniform was perfect, his face stern. "Dr. Reeves, I see you've met Officer Carter." The Admiral didn't wait for a response. "Let's be clear about the mission parameters." He touched a control and the screen changed to show a large space station. "This is Nexus Point, the hegemony's diplomatic hub. Ambassador Wright and a team of 5 will meet with representatives from all 7 species. The meeting is scheduled for 90 minutes. No weapons allowed, according to their rules." "Then why am I here?" Alex asked. Martinez's eyes narrowed. "Because they're lying." Samantha made a frustrated sound. "You don't know that. We've spent years building trust through long-range communications. Trust but verify, Martinez countered. Our intelligence suggests the hegemony, particularly the Vacans, respect strength above all else. They won't respect us if we appear weak. Bringing weapons to a peace talk is more than strength, it's provocation, Samantha argued. Martinez turned to Alex. Officer Carter won't be carrying standard weapons. Show her. Alex rolled up his sleeve, revealing what looked like a simple watch. Non-metallic composite blade. Undetectable by most scanners? And this, he pointed to a small pen in his pocket, contains a neural disruptor. Non-lethal but effective. On most species based on our research. Samantha looked horrified. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're planning for violence before we've even met them. I'm planning for all scenarios, Martinez corrected her. That's my job. And what's his job? Samantha pointed at Alex. To observe and protect, Alex answered before Martinez could. I'll be background security only. The aliens won't even notice me unless something goes wrong. And if something does go wrong? Samantha asked. Alex's face remained neutral. Then I make sure our people come home. The memory faded as Alex stood in the present moment, feeling the cold metal of Vexara's weapon against his forehead. The diplomatic chamber had gone completely silent. Every eye watched the standoff between human and Vacan on the orbiting human ship. Lisa Daniels worked frantically at her communications console. Strange transmissions flooded their sensors, messages never meant for human ears. Ryan, she called to engineer Ryan Collins, who was monitoring the station's energy outputs. I need your help with this. Ryan moved to her station, his face growing serious as he read the intercepted messages. This doesn't make sense. According to these transmissions, this meeting was never meant to succeed, Lisa nodded grimly. They're calling it the demonstration, something about proving humans are unfit for galactic community. Ryan's fingers flew over the controls. We need to warn them. But the station's running some kind of dampening field. I can barely get sensor readings, much less communications. Can we boost our signal? Lisa asked. Maybe, Ryan grabbed a toolkit. But I'll need to modify the main array. Give me 10 minutes. Lisa looked at the countdown on her screen. The delegation doesn't have 10 minutes. Back in the diplomatic chamber, Alex studied Vexara's weapon with practiced calm. The design didn't match their intelligence briefings exactly. The emitter was positioned differently, and the power cell looked smaller than expected. You recognize this weapon, Vexara said, not a question but a statement. Her voice had changed, becoming more curious than threatening. I've studied weapons my whole life, Alex replied evenly. Yours is interesting. Behind him, he could hear Ambassador Wright's controlled breathing. She was scared but holding it together. Good, they needed her mind clear. Your species shouldn't even know about particle weapons, Vexara said. Your scientists are still playing with chemical propellants and crude lasers. Alex didn't correct her. Let them underestimate humanity. It might be their only advantage. The Aloran diplomat finally found his voice. Commander Vexara, this display violates 17 sections of the Hegemony Charter on First Contact Protocols. Protocols are for equals, Vexara replied without taking her eyes off Alex. I'm simply providing a demonstration of reality for our visitors. Alex noticed something then. The other aliens weren't surprised by Vexara's actions. Concerned? Yes. Uncomfortable? Definitely. But not surprised. This had been planned. Why bring us here just to threaten us? Alex asked calmly. You could have ignored Earth signals. What are you afraid of? Vexara's scales rippled in what might have been anger. Afraid? Of primitives who can barely leave their atmosphere? Yet here we are, Alex said, and you're the one holding a weapon. A small chirping sound came from one of the Tasik representatives. It might have been laughter. Vexara's grip tightened on her weapon. Your kind adapts too quickly. We've watched your broadcasts, your history, from stone tools to spaceflight, in a mere blink of cosmic time. Now they were getting somewhere. Alex kept his expression neutral, but his mind raced. This wasn't random aggression. The hegemony, or at least some factions within it, feared humanity's potential. We're just eager to learn, Ambassador Wright said from behind Alex, her voice steady despite the circumstances. We come in peace. Peace, Vexara repeated the word like it tasted bad. Your species doesn't know the meaning. You still war. Among yourselves. Imagine what you would do to others once you acquire advanced technology. One of the jelly-bodied Muth moved forward, its translator bubbling. The commander's concerns are shared by many. Your species' development curve is ... concerning. Most take millennia to advance from basic tools to space travel. You did it in centuries. So this is a test, Alex said, understanding dawning. You want to see how we react under pressure. Vexara's alien face showed no expression, but the slight shift in her posture told Alex he was right. If that's true, Ambassador Wright said carefully, then threatening us hardly seems like a fair assessment of our character. On the human ship, Ryan worked feverishly to modify the communication array. Lisa watched the diplomatic feed, her heart pounding as she saw the weapon pressed against Alex's head. Hurry, she whispered. Ryan Collins tore open an access panel on the human ship. Wires and blinking lights greeted him. He pulled tools from his belt and began working. What exactly are you doing? Lisa asked, watching the diplomatic feed with growing worry. The hegemony. Station has a dampening field that blocks our transmissions, Ryan explained as he worked. But every field has weaknesses. I'm trying to find theirs. Lisa pointed to a strange pattern on her screen. These energy pulses repeat every 12 seconds. Could that help? Ryan looked up, his eyes widening. Yes, that's the field recycling. There's a split-second gap we might use? He connected two wires that sparked when they touched. The ship's lights dimmed briefly. Are you sure that's safe? Lisa asked. Ryan grinned. Absolutely not. But neither is leaving our people in there without backup. Back in the diplomatic chamber, Alex remained perfectly still with Vexara's weapon against his head. He noticed something odd about the weapon now. A small blue light near the trigger was blinking rapidly. Your demonstration has made its point, Ambassador Wright said. Lower your weapon and we can discuss humanity's place in the galaxy properly. Vexara didn't move. Humans always think they can talk their way out of trouble, always believing they deserve a seat at tables built by their betters. A tall Aloran stepped forward. Unlike the lead diplomat, this one wore simple clothing with no markings of rank. Commander, you've made your point, the Aloran said. The protocols for first contact are clear. Stay out of this, Kalaver, Vexara snapped. The vacant protectorate has authority in security matters. Alex filed that information away. There were clearly political divisions within the hegemony. The simple aliens versus humans situation was more complicated than it first appeared. If I may, Dr. Samantha Reeves spoke up, stepping forward despite the danger. Commander Vexara, you mentioned our rapid development as a species. Is that the real concern here? Vexara's eyes narrowed. Your kind went from primitive combustion engines to rudimentary space travel in less than a century. No other species in the hegemony developed that quickly. And this frightens you, Samantha said. It wasn't a question. It concerns us, corrected the jelly-bodied Muth. Its translator bubbled as it continued. The hegemony has maintained peace for 12,000 years by carefully managing technological development across species. Alex watched the reactions of the other aliens. Some nodded in agreement. Others seemed uncomfortable, like they didn't fully support this approach. You hold back other species? Ambassador Wright asked, her diplomatic training giving way to genuine shock. We guide them, the Aloran diplomat said quickly. Ensure they develop wisdom alongside technology. By threatening them at gunpoint? Alex asked, his voice calm despite the weapon still pressed against his head on the human ship. Ryan made a final adjustment to the communications array. Sparks flew from the console and a warning alarm sounded. I've bypassed 3 safety protocols, he told Lisa. We'll have about 10 seconds to transmit when the dampening field recycles. Lisa's fingers hovered over her console. What exactly? Are we sending? Ryan pulled a data stick from his pocket. Everything we've intercepted about their weapon systems. If I'm right, Carter can use this information, and if you're wrong? Ryan looked at the screen showing Alex with a weapon to his head. Then at least we tried. The ship's computer announced, "Warning, dampening field recycle in 5 seconds." In the diplomatic chamber, Vexara began what seemed like a prepared speech. The Hegemony Council has observed Earth for decades. Your broadcasts show a species obsessed with conflict. Your entertainment glorifies violence. Your history is written in the blood of your own kind. Yet here we are, Ambassador Wright countered, seeking peaceful contact rather than conquering our way into space. Alex noticed a small movement among the Tasic representatives. The bird-like aliens were exchanging glances. Not everyone agreed with Vexara's assessment. A clever deception, Vexara said. Present yourselves as peaceful while you learn our technology, our weaknesses. Alex felt something vibrate against his wrist. His special watch, actually a disguised communication device, was receiving a signal. The dampening field must have momentarily failed. Careful not to move his head, Alex glanced down. Text scrolled across the tiny screen. Weapon flaw, secondary. Safety required, blue light equals not armed. His mind raced to understand, the blue blinking. Light he had noticed, was it possible Vexara's weapon wasn't fully armed? Humanity has much to learn, Ambassador Wright was saying. We don't deny that. But threatening us won't lead to the peaceful relationship we seek. Peace is earned, Vexara replied. Through strength, discipline, and knowing your place in the galactic order. Alex studied the weapon more carefully now. Near the trigger, partially hidden by Vexara's scaled finger, he spotted a small switch that didn't seem to be engaged. A memory from the briefings flashed in his mind. Vacan weapons were known for multiple safety features, a cultural remnant, from a time when their species nearly destroyed itself in civil war. He made a decision. It was risky, but standing here indefinitely wouldn't solve anything. Commander, Alex said calmly. Your weapon is impressive. May I ask about its capabilities? Vexara seemed surprised by the question. You face death and ask about the tool that will deliver it? I'm curious by nature, Alex replied. Human trait. Something like amusement flickered across Vexara's alien features. It fires a concentrated particle beam that disrupts the molecular bonds of organic matter. Your body would essentially disintegrate from the inside. Sounds painful, Alex said conversationally, as if they were discussing the weather. How many have you killed with it? The question caught Vexara off guard. That is not your concern, human. I'm just wondering, Alex continued, if you've ever actually fired it in combat. The trigger seems complex. A ripple of tension passed through Vexara's body. The weapon wavered slightly. I am skilled in all Vacan weapons, she stated, but there was a defensive tone in her voice now. Alex had hit a nerve. Was it possible Vexara was all talk? A political officer rather than a true warrior? I believe you, Alex said soothingly. It's just that on Earth we train extensively with our weapons before taking them into potentially volatile situations. Several of the alien delegates were watching this exchange with increasing interest. The Aloran named KLVOR seemed particularly intent, his forearms completely still as he focused on them. Ambassador Wright caught on to what Alex was doing. Perhaps the commander would prefer to demonstrate her weapon on a non-living target first? I don't need to prove myself to primitives, Vexara snapped, but her grip on the weapon had changed slightly. Her third finger moved away from what Alex now suspected was the secondary safety on the human ship. Lisa watched the exchange with growing hope. Whatever data we sent, I think it's working. Carter's talking to her about the weapon. Ryan nodded. Look at her posture. She's getting defensive. Can we send anything else? Lisa asked. Not for another 11 minutes, Ryan said. That transmission fried half our system. We're lucky the ship didn't lose life support. Lisa touched her screen, enlarging the image of Alex and Vexara. He's on his own now. The diplomatic chamber grew tense as Alex and Vexara continued their standoff. Minutes stretched like hours. The other alien delegates watched with a mixture of concern and fascination. Enough talk, Vexara finally said. This demonstration has gone on too long. I agree, Ambassador Wright said. Lower your weapon and we can return to diplomatic discussions. Vexara's scales rippled with what might have been amusement. That is not what I meant. She pressed the weapon harder against Alex's forehead. The blue light continued to blink, confirming what Alex now suspected. The weapon was not fully armed. If you're going to shoot me, Alex said calmly, you should. At least tell me why. What are you really afraid humans will do? The jelly-bodied Muth delegate moved forward, its translator bubbling. Perhaps I can explain. Our simulations show human development reaching Tier 2 technology within 50 years. That is unprecedented. Tier 2? Samantha asked. Faster than light travel? Planet-scale energy production. Gravity manipulation, the Muth explained. It took the Alorans 800 years to reach that point after achieving spaceflight. The Vacan needed nearly 1,000. Alex kept his eyes on Vexara, but his mind worked quickly. This was about fear of human potential. And what happens when a species reaches Tier 2? Ambassador Wright asked. The Aloran diplomat answered. They become eligible for full hegemony membership, with voting rights on the council. Now things were becoming clearer. This wasn't just about technology, it was about power. So, some of you don't want humans having a voice in your politics, Samantha said. Even though your own rules would grant us that right. The bird-like Tasik made a chirping sound that their translator converted. The vacant protectorate fears losing influence. They currently hold 3 of 7 council seats due to their military contributions. Vexara hissed at the Tasik. Silence, Peltek. This is a security matter, not a political debate. But the damage was done. The real issue was exposed. This was about preserving vacant power in the face of a rapidly advancing new species. Alex decided it was time to act. The information from the ship confirmed his suspicions about the weapon, and now he understood the political situation better. Commander Vexara, he said, his voice perfectly steady, before you make a decision that might start a war, I'd like to offer an alternative. There is no alternative, Vexara said. Either humanity accepts hegemony guidance, our control over your technological development, or you will be deemed a threat to galactic peace. Alex nodded slightly. I understand. But there's a third option you haven't considered. What third option? Vexara asked, curiosity momentarily overcoming her aggression. In one smooth motion, Alex moved. His hand shot up, not to grab the weapon, but to hit Vexara's wrist at a precise angle. The move was so fast, so unexpected, that Vexara had no time to react. The weapon clattered to the floor. Sliding several feet away, the chamber erupted in gasps and startled movements. The human delegation froze in shock. None of the aliens had expected a human to move that quickly or precisely. Before Vexara could recover, Alex dove for the weapon and grabbed it. He rolled to his feet, now holding the alien device with surprising confidence. The third option, Alex said, pointing the weapon at Vexara, is that we demonstrate humanity isn't as primitive as you think. The vacant commander stood in shocked silence. The other delegates backed away, creating space between themselves and the confrontation. Officer Carter, Ambassador Wright said, her voice tense. This isn't the diplomatic approach we discussed. With respect, Ambassador, Alex replied without taking his eyes off Vexara. Diplomacy works best when both sides respect each other. We needed to level the playing field. The Aloran named Culver stepped forward, his 4 hands raised in a peaceful gesture. The human shows wisdom. Respect is earned, as the commander herself said. Vexara recovered from her shock, her scaled face darkening with rage. You dare turn my own weapon against me? You don't even know how to use it. Alex examined the weapon in his hand with practiced ease. TL-440 particle disruptor, 3 power settings, effective range of 30 meters. He pointed to the blinking blue light. And a secondary safety mechanism that needs to be engaged before firing. The look of surprise on Vexara's face confirmed he was right. On the human ship, Lisa and Ryan watched the screen with wide eyes. He did it, Lisa whispered. He actually disarmed her. Ryan nodded, impressed. Carter's more than just muscle. Look how he's handling that weapon, like he's been training with it for years. But he hasn't, Lisa said. He's bluffing. A good bluff can be more effective than actual firepower, Ryan replied. In the diplomatic chamber, Vexara tried to regain control of the situation. This changes nothing. You have merely proven humans are violent and unpredictable, exactly as we feared. No, Ambassador Wright stepped forward to stand beside Alex. We've proven we won't be bullied or controlled. There's a difference. She addressed the entire chamber now. Humanity seeks peaceful relations with the hegemony. We're eager to learn and grow. But we won't surrender our independence or our right to develop at our own pace. The Tacit delegate chirped something that made several aliens nod in agreement. Peltek says the human response is reasonable, translated another Tacit. The Hegemony Charter does not authorize forced technological suppression, the jelly-like Muth bubbled in its translator. The vacant proposal was always ... controversial. Many of us preferred genuine diplomatic engagement with Earth. Alex kept the weapon trained on Vexara, but he could sense the shift in the room. The other delegates were distancing themselves from the vacant position. You've rehearsed this, Vexara accused, looking around the chamber. All of you, conspiring against the Protectorate. Not conspiring, Clavor said calmly. Simply disagreeing with your methods. First contact should be a celebration, not a threat assessment. Ambassador Wright seized the diplomatic opening. Perhaps we should restart these talks properly? As equals seeking mutual understanding. The lead Aloran diplomat finally spoke again. I believe that would be wise. Commander Vexara's demonstration has clearly failed to produce the intended results. Vexara hissed in anger. The Council will hear about this betrayal. The Council will hear about your unauthorized use of weapons during a first contact meeting. Clover countered. A serious violation of our most sacred protocols. Alex watched this exchange with interest. The political dynamics of the hegemony were complex, with clear factions and rivalries. Not so different from Earth politics after all, Officer Carter, Ambassador Wright said quietly. Perhaps you could lower the weapon now? As a gesture of good faith, Alex hesitated, studying Vexara's body language. The vacant commander was angry but also calculating. The threat wasn't over. I'll lower it when Commander Vexara formally acknowledges humanity's right to join these talks as equals, Alex said. A tense silence filled the chamber as all eyes turned to Vexara. Vexara stood perfectly still, her scaled skin darkening with what might have been rage or embarrassment. The entire chamber waited for her response. I do not speak for the full hegemony, she finally said, each word forced through clenched teeth. Then, who does? Ambassador Wright asked, seizing the diplomatic opening. The lead Aloran diplomat stepped forward. I am Yurzik, first speaker for the Hegemony Council. In light of recent ... events, I propose we reset these discussions. Alex kept the weapon steady, watching Vexara carefully. She was dangerous, perhaps more so now that she had been humiliated. First speaker, Alex said, I'd be happy to return this weapon once Commander Vexara formally stands down. Yurzik nodded. Commander, your demonstration has concluded. Stand down. For a moment, it seemed that Vexara might refuse. Her body tensed, and Alex prepared for her to lunge at him. Instead, she straightened to her full height and made a formal gesture with her clawed hands. As ordered, first speaker, the demonstration is complete. The tension in the room eased slightly, but Alex didn't lower the weapon yet. There was something in Vexara's tone that bothered him, a hint of satisfaction that didn't match her apparent defeat. On the human ship, Ryan worked frantically to restore communications. The earlier transmission had damaged several systems. Almost there, he told Lisa. One more circuit to repair. Lisa pointed to a flashing alert on her screen. Ryan, look at this. There's an energy buildup in the diplomatic chamber. Something's powering up. Ryan leaned closer, his face paling. That's not good. Those readings look like a weapon charging. But Vexara's weapon is in Carter's hands now, Lisa said. Then it's another weapon, Ryan replied grimly. We need to warn them. In the diplomatic chamber, Ambassador Wright had begun speaking. The people of Earth appreciate this opportunity to begin again. We come seeking friendship and knowledge, not conflict. The hegemony values peaceful exchange, Yerzik responded. Though we have concerns about humanity's rapid development, perhaps these can be addressed through cooperation rather than restriction. Alex noticed a subtle change in the room. A faint humming had begun, just at the edge of hearing. None of the humans seemed to notice, but several of the aliens shifted uncomfortably. First speaker, Alex interrupted. What's that sound? Yerzik looked confused, but the small Tasik named Peltek suddenly chirped in alarm. The translator. Converted, security field activating. This is not protocol. Vexara's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. Protocol is sometimes insufficient. The humming grew louder. A faint shimmer appeared in the air around the human delegation. What is this? Ambassador Wright demanded. A containment field. Clover explained, his forearms moving in agitation. Commander, you go too far. Vexara's confidence had returned. The Vacan Protectorate has final authority on security matters. These humans have proven they cannot be trusted. They will remain contained until the full council decides their fate. Alex raised the weapon. Turn it off, Commander. Or what? Vexara taunted. You'll shoot? Proving everything I've said about human violence? The humming intensified. Alex felt a strange pressure against his skin, like the air was becoming thick. The field will solidify in moments, Vexara explained. You will be held in stasis until transport to a secure facility. This had been her plan all along, Alex realized. The weapon confrontation was just a distraction from the real trap. First speaker, Ambassador Wright appealed to Yerzik. You cannot allow this violation of diplomatic rights. Yerzik seemed torn. Commander Vexara oversteps her authority, but I cannot override security protocols without council approval. The shimmer in the air grew more visible. Alex could feel his movements becoming sluggish, as if he were moving through water. He had seconds to act. Looking down at the weapon in his hands, he made a decision. Trigger ready, Vexara announced. To the chamber, her voice smug as she watched the humans being trapped. Final words, human? She asked Alex with mocking formality. Alex's mind raced. The weapon in his hand was still showing the blinking blue light, still not fully armed. But maybe that didn't matter, he grinned suddenly, which seemed to catch Vexara. Off guard? You forgot the safety, he said calmly, and instead of pointing the weapon at Vexara, he turned it toward the ceiling and pressed the trigger. Nothing happened, Vexara laughed. As I thought. You don't know how to use. Alex flicked the small switch near the trigger, the secondary safety, and fired again, this time. A brilliant red beam shot from the weapon, hitting a small device mounted on the ceiling. The device exploded in a shower of sparks. Immediately, the humming stopped. The shimmering field vanished. The chamber erupted in chaos. The Tasik delegates chirped excitedly. The Muth's translators bubbled so rapidly their words became jumbled. The Alorans spoke over each other in surprise. How did you know? Vexara demanded, her confidence replaced by shock. Alex lowered the weapon. The field generator had the same. Manufacturer's mark as your weapon? And you kept looking up at the ceiling, not very subtle. But how did you know about the safety? She pressed. Alex smiled. Because humans study what we don't understand. And we learn quickly. On the human ship, Lisa and Ryan watched the readings return to normal. He did it, Ryan said in amazement. Whatever Carter just did, it worked, Lisa smiled. Never underestimate a Navy SEAL with something to prove. In the diplomatic chamber, First Speaker Yerzik moved to the center of the room, raising all four hands for silence. What has happened here today is unprecedented, he announced. And most irregular, he turned to Vexara. Commander, your actions have violated our most sacred principles of diplomatic contact. You will return to Vacan Prime immediately to face review. Vexara began to protest, but armed guards, not Vacan but Iloran, entered the chamber. Yerzik then faced the human delegation. Ambassador Wright, Officer Carter, Dr. Reeves. On behalf of the hegemony, I offer our sincere apology. Commander Vexara's faction does not represent our collective will. We understand political divisions, Ambassador Wright said graciously. Earth has them too. Alex finally placed the weapon on a nearby table, making sure to re-engage both safety. Mechanisms first. I believe this belongs to you, he said. Though I suggest better tracking of your weapons in the future. Clover approached the humans. The courage and quick thinking you have shown today has made an impression on many of us. Perhaps humanity truly is ready for the stars. The Tasik named Peltak chirped something that made the other bird-like aliens flutter their wings in what seemed like agreement. Peltak suggests we begin again, translated another Tasik, with proper respect this time. Ambassador Wright smiled. Earth would welcome that opportunity. As Vexara was led away by the guards, she paused beside Alex. This isn't over, human. Your species moves too quickly. The galaxy isn't ready for you? Alex met her gaze steadily. Then the galaxy better catch up. Later, as the human delegation prepared to return to their ship, Samantha approached Alex. I was wrong about you, she admitted. Having you here saved us today? Alex shrugged. We all played our part. Your knowledge of their biology helped me understand their reactions. The ambassador's diplomacy kept things from escalating too far. And Lisa and Ryan getting that message to you about the weapon, Samantha added. We make a good team. Alex nodded, looking around at the alien delegates who were now engaged in genuine conversation with the humans. I think that's the point. Humanity's strength isn't in our weapons or technology. It's our ability to work together, Samantha finished. To adapt and to learn from our mistakes, Alex added. Thinking of Vexara's crucial error, always check your safety before trying to intimidate a human.